Have you ever called 911 from the 10th floor conference room only to discover dispatch thinks you're in another state where the corporate phone system is located? Today we're talking about why engaging an emergency number professional, or ENP, matters, and why enterprises really need to care. It's not just alphabet soup, it's a matter of life and safety. That's next on TiPS, Today in Public Safety.
Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Here's your host, Fletch, with today's tips.
Welcome to TiPS. Today in Public Safety, this is Fletch. I'm an ENP and the Vice President of Public Safety Solutions at 911 Inform. 3 times a week, I bring you the latest, most informative, and sometimes controversial takes on emergency communications. Today we're taking a deep dive into why being an ENP matters for the 911 solution you deploy for your business and for your emergency response. Let's face it, legacy E911 solutions have been about as helpful as the instructions that come with an IKEA furniture set, well-intentioned but completely baffling in their practice and their implementation. With Enterprise 911, most business IT and telecom pros have just checked the box, but been left in the dark about how emergency calling actually works, typically finding out the hard way when somebody needs help and it doesn't arrive in time. Most often because the deployment wasn't designed or even blessed by a certified ENP. Take Carey's Law, for example. That law came into existence because of a poorly designed fix to a technology issue that someone somewhere decided worked well. And that was having to dial an extra 9 to route external phone calls. Spoiler alert, it really wasn't. Instead, it prevented a standardized access to a life-saving service, all because no one realized that dialing emergency services needed to be common across all modalities and technology platforms. The harsh end result was a 9-year-old who knew to dial 911 when her mother Carey was being brutally murdered in the bathroom, but had no idea that extra 9 was required in the hotel phone system. Next, enter the Ray Bombs Act. After reaching 911, making sure a dispatchable location is available that's accurate down to the exact floor or room. Honestly, sending help to corporate headquarters, someplace in this huge building, was never a winning strategy. And here's the kicker. Fixing this situation isn't exactly rocket science, but it does require someone who understands both enterprise mobility and the nitty-gritty of public safety call routing and dispatch. This is exactly why enterprises have to be cautious about choosing their solution providers. Do they have someone who knows emergency communications beyond reading the brochures? Do they have an ENP on staff? You know, someone who can explain why your fancy new cloud phone system might actually send emergency responders to your competitor's lobby. The ENP certification isn't just a fancy piece of paper. It's an internationally recognized industry certification based on standards that confirm the holder's deep understanding of emergency communications. In order to become an ENP, candidates face a comprehensive exam that covers technology, policy, operations, and legislative requirements. It's basically the overarching black belt of 911 knowledge. Minus all the cool moves, but most people spend months, if not years, studying for it. And statistically, get this, only 67% of those taking it pass the first time. Actually, today there are fewer than 2,000 active ENPs, and that's worldwide. And that makes them about as rare as a decent cup of coffee out of a hotel room coffee maker. In fact, this represents only about 8.6% of NENA, the National Emergency Number Association's 23,000 industry members. The certification's highly respected across the public safety industry, and that's worldwide. Mainly because it demonstrates a genuine and ongoing dedication and expertise due to its experience requirements and the recertification required every 4 years. So having an ENP in the loop of product design or its implementation means that you've got someone who knows how to bridge the gap between complex enterprise needs and modern public safety architecture demands. In fact, with next generation 911 services becoming the new standard, implementations are getting more complex and criticality being higher than ever before. So if you're serious about public safety concerns in your enterprise, and come on, who isn't? Making sure your enterprise 911 deployment includes a qualified ENP somewhere in the process. Trust me, you don't want to find out that your solution design was put together based on some research from Twitter and online forums. You want a certified emergency number professional. That's it for today's episode of Tips Today in Public Safety. Thanks so much for listening. For more updates and insights, remember to follow me on social media at Fletch911. And you can visit 911tips.com for a complete archive of our previous episodes. Stay safe, thanks for listening, and if you're in public safety, thanks for what you do every day. I'll catch you next time.
You've been listening to Tips Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Hosted by Fletch and available every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Catch past episodes on 911tips.com. That's 911tips.com. Be sure to like and subscribe, and remember to join us each week for the latest on NG 911. I am Spider Harrison, the official 911 voiceover dude. Catch me on Sirius XM on various channels, including 90s on 9, the 10 spot, and on the Weekend Countdown on Hits 1. Or don't regret it for the rest of your life. Either way, I'm good. Tips is brought to you by 911 Inform, the leading next-generation 911 solution for enterprise compliance with federal 911 regulations. Visit them on the web at 911inform.com. 911 Inform, making every second count when it matters the most.